let's talk about leadership. Do you think that the 21st century woman has overcome the challenges of positioning themselves in a place of leadership?
I think that we are making a lot of progress, not just in making sure that we're equipped to take those positions, but also ensuring that we amplify our moves into those positions. If you see today, there are a lot of organizations who are doing a lot to ensure that they spotlight these women, and because until young girls begin to see women in those positions, then they begin to aspire. So it's one thing to have women in those positions, and another thing to communicate that to the public and recognize them for making those bold moves. And women are really, really making a lot of bold moves.
A lot of bold moves, you're right.
Yeah, definitely. There is a lot more progress to be made, but you need to really acknowledge how far you've come in order to move even further. And I know that there are a lot of women who are getting educated. So we're not going to lack women who are going to take up, great positions. And, what is happening these days and globally is to ensure that spaces where there are a lack of women, are making sure that women are getting more educated in those areas in order to have a shot at positions in those critical areas.
All right. Before we take our break, let me just pull you into the American politics. We have two top candidates. One is a female and one is a male. I know that you guys have featured a bit about her in one of your magazines. What's the take on that? Where do you see that? What do you think that the Vice President Harris would becoming president would bring to the woman's world, generally speaking? If you have someone who is female being the most powerful person in the world as a leader.
To me, I always say that we need to be very, very realistic with our expectations on things. It's funny how people expect so much from Kamala Harris because she's a woman. And on one hand, I think it's quite unfair. Why do I think so? And it's because if it was a man, we just have an equal expectation that's just another president, and we judge them for the things that we expect them to do in a follow-up of what we need, the change we need to see in our community. We don't even talk about whether he's a man or anything else. In history, we never had the first person who pioneered anything do better than those who did it 10 times after, right? So if we had a 10th female president in America, then we can judge fairly. Okay. But we are having the first female president of America. It is going to be unfair on Kamala because, just like Barack Obama, it was unfair on him. First Black president. Till tomorrow, he will never fill the gap that everyone expected him to do because they've just given him a really long rope and asked him to tie. So what I'm trying to say essentially is that I would be happy enough that she's a woman. She would definitely do something.
Definitely.
She has the experience to do those things.
She does have the experience.
Just like every other candidate, they all have something to offer, but they're as good as their weakest team, weakest link.
Right.
For all of them, But for Iris being the president of America is going to be symbolic, just like Obama was symbolic for every Black person, for Iris, for women to attempt it again, to aspire. And for me, that is enough.